Hi, my name's Billy. I read books and I've read The Light of All That Falls by James Islington, book 3 in the Licanius trilogy. It's a big old book. It's the final book in the trilogy, and I've given it 3.5 out of 5. And the main reason for that is because this book on its own is not a bad book. It's not a bad book. I don't think it's a 4-star. It's certainly not a 3, but the reason I'm giving it this score is because of book 2. The second book in this series, I had issues. If you've watched my review, you will know what those issues are. One of the main ones was flashbacks. And I was just disengaged from the story. And I didn't realise just how disengaged from the story I was until I started reading this, because I just couldn't get into it. And when it's a big old boy like this, and it's a story you can't get into, you've kind of checked out, you've kind of disengaged from. It's not a good place to be in, because this book has took me ages to get through. At one point, I put it down just over halfway, and I think I didn't pick it up again for a month. And it's the final book in the series, and I'm halfway through it. That's just how much I'm disengaged. And I stress again, it's not the fault of this book. It was the fault of the second book. If you have read this series so far, if you've read the first 2 books and that second book you really liked, then you'll have a good time with this. You'll like it. If you had an issue with the second book, you may not have a good time with this. You may fall into the same camp that I did. One of the things that struck me with this book and series in a way, and obviously I can't talk about the plot much for this final book. Safe to say that the story just continues on from where the second book left off. One of the things that struck me with it is the magic system and how they just talk about it so much. It reminds me, if you've read Cradle by Will White, they kind of spend loads of time in that series, like practicing with the magic and learning about it and like grinding for experience and stuff like that to level up and get better. And in that series, it always bugs me because I just think, just get on with the story. I've read, so for argument's sake in that series, I've read 5 books now. Stop going on about the magic system. Can we just please get on with the story? And in this, it's the same. The magic kind of just keeps on expanding a bit, and the characters learning a bit more about it, and they're talking about it and trying stuff and realising that this thing here, if you do this with it here and then channel it into there, and then it forms this, which means you can then do this over here, which then explains this thing from over here. And it's like, get on with the story, please. Please, can we just get on with it now? I know the author has crafted a very detailed, believable world. And he's done a really good job. A debut author, fair play to him. He's done a really good job here. And he's clearly very proud and pleased of this magic system. But that doesn't mean when I'm 500 pages into the final book of the series, I still want to be reading about this flipping magic system. Just get on with the story, please. And it was frustrating. Thankfully, I think there's one flashback in this book. Because that was the big problem with that second book. There was just so many. And when I came across that one flashback in this book, I was thinking, oh no, please, not more of this stuff, please. And thankfully there wasn't. It carries on. But like I say, I was just checked out and disengaged, and I wasn't that interested or invested really with how it was going to pan out or progress or what happened to the characters really, which is a shame. It is a shame. So one other thing I want to try and touch on here is the covers of the books. The covers are fantastic. I don't think anyone can say anything bad about these covers. I'll put the other ones up on the screen now. They're fantastic covers. That's one of the things that attracted me to this series, as well as the positive reviews as well. But I can't help but feel that with the way the story goes and the direction that it takes, those covers don't really do it justice. Based on those covers, I would be expecting a certain type of story. And it doesn't really, to me, it doesn't really reflect those covers. If you've read it, you may know what I mean, but let me try and give you an example. So take the Wheel of Time, for example. That's it. because that's what this series kind of gets compared to. Now, in the Wheel of Time, lots of from where the story starts to where it ends up, it expands out massively. And there is a common thread that runs through it, and there's lots of offshoots, and some of the characters go off and do weird and wonderful things, but at its core, it kind of stays the same. And it kind of goes along in one way. And the Licanius series doesn't do that. It kind of starts, you have the covers, which suggests a certain thing. It gets compared to the Wheel of Time, so you get an idea of what you think it might be like. And the story starts off in a certain way, but then it just kind of goes off and ends up doing something else, which is not really certainly not what I was thinking it was going to do. And not for the better, really. Sometimes you can get a pleasant surprise based on your expectations going in, and sometimes it's not a particularly good outcome because of the direction the story takes. So all in all, I think, what did I do? What ratings did I give them? I think I gave book 1 4 stars. I gave book 2, I think I gave that 3, but in hindsight, that maybe should have been a 2.5 because of how much it spoiled this. And this is a 3.5, but could probably be a 3, really. Just because I'm so disenchanted with it. I'm giving it a 3.5 because in and of itself, it's not a bad book. So there. What do you think? Have you read the series? What did you think of it? Do you agree with my thoughts? Did you really like the series? Are you going to continue with it? Are you going to give it a go based on this? Please let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.